Hey everyone, what is going on? So we will be shoutcasting MORPHINGJAR90's tournament, and it is the same tournament that I participated in, the Sinister Cup, and he did go 3-1, so he is one of the 5 players that did tie for first place. And a little backstory about him. First of all, he is my brother. None of you probably knew that. I had mentioned it, I think, once, but I don't know if anybody really remembers that. But, yeah, we'll be shoutcasting his tournament. A little backstory about him. He's participated in all of the cups, but he hasn't really been super into it until the past few, or the past couple, since like the Mirror Cup, I would say. Hasn't really been practicing for it. He really hasn't been watching YouTube videos. But yeah, so he's getting really into it. Definitely got a lot better, and he did really well, so props to him. So let's see what he's going with. He's going with that Haunter, Poliwrath, Alolan Marowak, Steelix, Cresselia, and Medicham. So very standard lineup. Nice to see the Haunter. And a little spoiler warning, it is a Shadow Ball Haunter. And his opponent's team will be Mawile, Gardevoir, Alolan Marowak, Drifblim, Poliwrath, and Lucario. And I know I have my team written on the bottom. I forgot to change that to MORPHINGJAR90's team, but obviously that is his team. So let's go ahead and take a look at the battles and see what happens, because as we know, he did go 3-1, so let's see. I haven't seen any of these battles. So it looks like right now the Cresselia is going for a Future Sight, doing a lot of damage to that Marowak actually. So what is going to happen? Shield will come up and block the Shadow Ball, so that was a nice shield on his part. Gonna go ahead and feint that Marowak. So what comes in is that Mawile, and let's see what happens. Gonna go ahead and go for the Future Sight. Doing a lot of damage. Is it gonna be enough? It doesn't look like it's going to be. It looks like this Poliwrath won't take it out, but then the bites might. Let's see. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong. I'm not. Wow, that was so close, guys. That was absolutely ridiculous. That was so close. So losing the first game, but that's okay. Let's see how game 2 goes. So he is going to go ahead and lead with that Medicham against the Drifblim. And by the way, I have to announce that at the end of the video, he asked me to put his friend code there. So if you make it to the end of the video, he wants people to add him to have other PvP battlers, because he hasn't really had many people to practice with. And I will link his Twitter, which is actually brand new. It's a brand new Twitter, so he might have like 2 followers. He doesn't have a lot of followers, so definitely go ahead and follow him. Link in the description down below, and add him in. I don't know how long it'll take for his friend list to fill up, but definitely go ahead and add him. Anyway, we have the Medicham versus the Drifblim. Drifblim will go for the Ominous Wind to knock out Medicham. Not using a shield on that one. Bringing in the Alolan Marowak. And is he going to bait? He is going to bait. But will this knock out the Drifblim? Because Drifblim, I don't think it will. Oh, he shields anyway, so he catches the bait. Gonna go ahead and block this, whatever it is. It happens to be an Ominous Wind, okay. And then, guess he could just feint down with Fast Move. So good play. Good play. Jetfire will send out Marowak. So a little bit troublesome, but the Bone Club will come up. And that will do a decent amount to Marowak. Actually getting off another Bone Club, so this should knock out that Marowak. It will, unless, is it a shield left? He doesn't use the shield, there's no shield left on Jetfire's side. Okay, so couldn't have shielded that anyway. Going for a last-ditch effort Bone Club before the Marowak goes down, because he knew he couldn't get to the Shadow Ball. Actually pulling the switch into Poliwrath, and wow, Poliwrath in the back, but that Gardevoir is too low. Poliwrath does get off the Ice Punch, and that will end Gardevoir. So pulling out that win, but Jetfire almost had it with that Gardevoir though. So 1-1 right now, picking up a Cinderstone, which is always nice. So we're jumping into the final game, game 3. Haunter, again, with Shadow Ball versus Alolan Marowak. So let's see, this could play out differently depending on how the shields are used, and we'll see what happens. So shield is used against the Alolan Marowak. Haunter does throw up a shield as well. Probably a Bone Club. It is a Bone Club. That would have knocked out Haunter anyway. And Haunter will go for, I believe he went for the Shadow Punch. He did go for the Shadow Punch. Okay, so taking the lead there, taking the switch advantage. Drifblim comes in, not able to get to that Shadow Claw and Shadow Punch, unfortunately. Steelix does come in, and Drifblim is probably going. Let's see, is it a Shadow Ball or is it? It is a Shadow Ball, doing a lot of damage to that Steelix. Steelix will go for the crunch. I am expecting a shield to protect the Drifblim. Yeah, we see the shield over there, just so Drifblim can get off a charge move. Gonna go ahead and throw up the shield on MORPHINGJAR's side. Yeah, so let's continue on. Oh, not able to get to that crunch, unfortunately. So this ominous wind should knock out the Steelix, as it does. And then Medicham comes in, but unfortunately doesn't have any more shields available. So Drifblim is going to go for an ominous wind. And yeah, so the Ice Punch will definitely take out Drifblim. But let's see if he's able to pull it off somehow, some way. The Mawile comes in, and it doesn't look good for MORPHINGJAR. He's going to go for the Ice Punch, but that's not going to do much to Mawile. Yeah, it's not going to do anything. Medicham will be falling to this Mawile, so he does take an early loss, loses game 1. It's never nice to lose game 1, but it happens sometimes. So we're going to jump in and battle Kokid. I'm not battling him, MORPHINGJAR is. Haunter versus Steelix, so let's see how this plays out. And so Kokid does have Dusclops, Gardevoir, Steelix, Drifblim, Poliwrath, and Grumpig. So it's interesting to see the Grumpig. To be honest with you, I don't know any of Grumpig's moves. It could get Moonblast, it could get Psychic. I have no idea. I've never looked it up. So let's see what it does. Maybe Kokid knows something that none of us do, or that at least that I don't. But anyway, the Earthquake goes off against Poliwrath, doing a lot of damage to it. Steelix will go ahead and throw up the shield against Power Up Punch. Probably afraid of a Dynamic Punch. Gonna go ahead and knock out that Poliwrath, and has plenty of stored energy. Actually, the move's coming in, so gonna go ahead and block the crunch just because he wants to get off the Earthquake, I would assume. Yeah, so let's see if his opponent does go ahead and shield this, as he does. Correct shield, I would have shielded that as well. Steelix will come back for the Poliwrath, and is this going to be an Earthquake against the Poliwrath? Let's find out. It is a crunch. Okay, so luckily for him, it is a crunch. Gonna go ahead and charge up extra energy, maybe trying to knock out the Steelix. Yeah, knocking out the Steelix, saving up all that energy, and now MORPHINGJAR is in a really good position because he has a lot of banked energy. Going to go for the Ice Punch. Ice Punch unboosted, not really doing a lot, but it does add up, and as I said, he has stored energy, so the Ice Punches will fly, and yeah, that Dusclops is definitely feeling the heat. So let's see what happens. So Shadow Punch comes out, and not going to do much to Poliwrath, and Ice Punch will go and not knock out Dusclops, but Bubble will be able to feint it. So Poliwrath does go ahead and win that one, and MORPHINGJAR does win the first battle. So really good game. So we're going to go ahead and jump into game 2, and let's see what happens. I'm hoping to see that Grumpig, just because I'm really curious. But right now it's a Steelix mirror match, so this could go either way. I mean, it depends. If you block the Earthquake, you block the Crunch, you don't block anything, right? So it looks like MORPHINGJAR is going to go ahead and bluff with the Crunch. And he does fall for the bluff, so that's good on his end. So now he's up energy right now. Actually, Steelix comes back for the Poliwrath, so just going straight for the Earthquake. And this is good for MORPHINGJAR because Earthquake will either do a lot or take his last shield, and then he could switch to the Cresselia, as you can see right now. And the only thing that Poliwrath really has for a Cresselia that will do a good amount of damage is Hydro Pump, and we're not seeing Hydro Pump from that Poliwrath, so not really needing to worry. Cresselia is super bulky, is able to take on this Poliwrath. Power Punch is not doing much at all, so the Poliwrath goes down easily, and we have Aurora Beam and Future Sight ready to go. Steelix comes in, gonna go for it. Gonna be a Crunch, of course. I don't know if I would have shielded that one, just because Cresselia could survive it, but it wasn't a bad shield. I don't know. It depends how I was feeling in the situation. I mean, MORPHINGJAR is in a good position right now anyway. So he's going to go ahead and let this one go. It is going to obviously be a Crunch. As you could see, you could take that. So maybe he had to shield one of them anyway, so maybe shielding that was the best play. Anyway, going for the Aurora Beam just to do as much damage as possible against the Steelix. Actually feinting it with Confusion. So the Grunt Pig, yes, the Grunt Pig comes in. So, wait, knocking out Cresselia, awesome. You know, I don't care if Kid loses this one. He wins the tournament for having that Grunt Pig. I just love seeing it. I love Grunt Pig, I really do. So we have a Psychic that comes out, actually doing a lot of damage to that Alolan Marowak, but Alolan Marowak is able to get off the Shadow Ball, and this should be the end of Grunt Pig as it is. I don't know Grunt Pig's stats, but I didn't think it would survive a Shadow Ball at that range from an Alolan Marowak. So, Morphingjaw does win the set, but they are going to go ahead and play their third game. So, Poliwrath versus Poliwrath. So, this is even right now. We'll have to see which one has the advantage. Could be either one of them. Let's find out. So, looks like the Dynamic Punch is coming from Morphingjaw's side, and that will be unshielded, so doing a lot of damage. Poliwrath is going to fire back with, is it going to be a Power Punch? It is going to be a Power Punch. So in the mirror match, generally speaking, the Dynamic Punch one wins because Power Punch really doesn't do a lot of damage. So just going for an Ice Punch, trying to finish off the Poliwrath. It actually doesn't finish it off, but a Bubble will take it out. So good play. The Grunt Pig comes in, so we get to see Grunt Pig again. Another Ice Punch comes just before Poliwrath goes down. Now this won't take it out, it's actually shielded, so I'm a little surprised that shield came out. I wouldn't have shielded that. But Alolan Marowak comes out, and a move is going to come, probably the Psychic. And yeah, it is the Psychic, doing a lot of damage. Morphingjaw decides not to block it, and we're going to have a bait, a Bone Club. So let's see what happens. He does fall for the bait. I was going to say I probably would have went for the Shadow Ball because you win no matter what with the Shadow Ball, because it's either going to knock out the Grunt Pig or you're going to take their last shield. But obviously the bait ended up working for him, so that's good. So Cresselia comes in against the Grunt Pig, and Grunt Pig will go for a Psychic, but Cresselia eats those for lunch. And then Cresselia will not be able to finish it off just yet. Probably another Psychic. Let's see. It is another Psychic. Okay, so the damage does add up, actually getting the defense drop as well. So this actually isn't really looking too great for Cresselia at the moment. I mean, yeah, there's 2 shields, but we'll see what happens. 2 shields, they're both down to the last Pokemon, and Cresselia is really weak, so Cresselia might fall. Let's see. It's hard to say, it really is. So Aurora Beam comes out. Maybe it won't. It's going to be I mean, he'll be able to block the crunches. I don't know. So as you can see, he's going to block the first crunch. Does that Steelix have enough for 2? It's going to be close. Wow. Cresselia gets off an Aurora Beam, and that should finish off that Steelix. Well, I thought the game 3 was going to go to Kid. It wouldn't have mattered because he still won the set, but yeah, anyway, we're moving on to game 3 against Ophelia, a friend of ours. So Ophelia has Probopass, Medicham, Steelix, Drifblim, Poliwrath, and Alolan Marowak. So a really solid team, a team that you would expect to see, right? So Poliwrath is going to go ahead and fire off a Dynamic Punch against Medicham and then pull the switch. Medicham will block that. Into Cresselia. Now Cresselia really does not take much against moves from Medicham. I mean, the Ice Punch isn't doing much. You'd basically want a boosted one. I mean, Psychic's not going to do much, so we'll see what happens. Maybe an Ice Punch will come now. No, a Psychic. So it's Psychic Power Punch. It's not taking much. To be fair, the damage is adding up, as you could see. I mean, it actually does add up so much so that that's going to force Cresselia to use a shield. I think I would have let that go through, but maybe shielding was the best way to go. So yeah, anyway, Probopass comes out, and Future Sight is going to come for Morphingjar90, and that will not do much. I mean, I guess it does decent damage. Switching into Poliwrath, I expect the shield. Yeah, I expect the shield because it could be Thunderbolt. It is Thunderbolt, so not wanting to fall for Thunderbolt. That's why I think I wouldn't have used the shield when I had the Cresselia against the Medicham, because even if Cresselia fell, you would have used the shield against Probopass with Poliwrath, but you would have had another shield. So the Ice Punch will come out, and we're going to see a Thunderbolt against this Probopass, most likely. It is a Thunderbolt, which will knock out Poliwrath. So Cresselia comes out, actually finishing off that Probopass, and Steelix does come in. Steelix uses its energy, so to just knock out Cresselia. I wouldn't have done that. I would have tried to farm down Cresselia and had energy for this Haunted so you can get the crunch off. And I feel like Ophelia could have won this one if she did that, because you would have had enough for crunch. And Haunted, I don't know, can Haunted survive a crunch from Steelix? I feel like it can't. Because of how squishy it is. But anyway, I feel like that was a mistake, but it's okay because we're all just playing and just having a good time, so it doesn't really matter. But good game nonetheless. So we're going to go ahead and jump into the next game. And MORPHINGJAR90 will lead with that Poliwrath, Ophelia with the Drift Blim. So let's see what happens. He does have the Ice Punch, so going straight for that Ice Punch. Doing a decent amount of damage, so let's see how much it does. It's unboosted, still doing a lot. And Drift Blim will fire an attack, and it is going to be an Ominous Wind. So, nice attack. Let's see what happens. Is he going to try to farm down? It looks like he's trying to farm down. Gonna have to use a shield if he wants to keep that energy and not waste it. So, using the shield against the Shadow Ball, and then Drift Blim will go down. So now Dynamic Punch and Ice Punch available. You really don't want to use any of them. I guess he decided to just use Ice Punch. At the same time, you could have switched to save the energy. But I guess, well, you caught a shield, so I guess it worked out for you. But anyway, going for another Ice Punch. Catching both shields, actually. Going for another Ice Punch. Wow. So I guess it was the right decision to stay in. You know, I wouldn't have expected both those shields, but that's okay. Go ahead and use a Shadow Ball against the Poliwrath to knock it out. Again, I wouldn't have used Shadow Ball, I would have used Bone Club. Actually, I probably would have fainted it down if I invested 2 shields at that point. But I don't know. That's okay, that's okay. Bone Club coming in to hit the Alolan Marowak. So Alolan Marowak will fire off a Bone Club against the opposing one, knocking out that Alolan Marowak. So Poliwrath will come in and trying to go for that Shadow Ball. It does get to the Shadow Ball, so it's going to be able to hit it for a lot of damage, as it does. And let's see, switching in to catch whatever move it catches. Let's see what it is. It is a Dynamic Punch, so nice switch on Morphingjar's side, and that's going to finish off Poliwrath. So Cresselia is no way is it going to lose to Poliwrath. You will know that if you watch my video. But either way, I've heard that Ophelia decided to forfeit the last match. She didn't want to play Game 3. So we're jumping into the final round against Jokes. So whoever wins this will be 3-1 and tie for first. So Jokes runs Dusclops, Medicham, Steelix, Claydol, Poliwrath, and Empoleon. So right now it is the Poliwrath versus the Claydol. So deciding not to try and feint it down, a little bit too risky, going for that Ice Punch. Actually shielding that up. And it probably because he is able to knock out the Poliwrath, so able to survive as well. A little bit risky because that Poliwrath could have maybe knocked down, maybe they could have like KO'd themselves at the same time, I don't know. Either way, Earth Power comes in against Cresselia, and Cresselia will be able to take it. Let's see what comes in next. It is going to be the Steelix. Okay, so is he going to switch? Just charge up some energy. Let's see what happens. Going to go ahead and shield this Steelix. Doesn't want to take the crunch. And then he's just going to go ahead and go straight for the Future Sight, just to do as much damage as possible. He did go for the Future Sight, right? I think so. Switching into Alolan Marowak. And this is going to be mind games because Alolan Marowak likes to bluff, you know. It does it bluff or does it not bluff, you know. So we'll see. I don't know. He is not going to bluff. I would have done that too. I would have went straight for the Shadow Ball. And Jokes will shield though, so obviously the Bone Club would have been better. However, if you shield this, I believe he can get to another Shadow Ball. It's going to be super tight. I don't know. He does get to another Shadow Ball. Okay, so nice play. Able to get to another Shadow Ball and just knock out that Dusclops. So now the Steelix comes in and, you know, he's not able to get to a Bone Club, but the Steelix will obviously knock out the Alolan Marowak, but he did use up all his energy. And Cresselia, going for that crunch. Let's see what happens. Not able to feint the Cresselia. I thought the Cresselia would survive. Cresselia does get off that Aurora Beam and is able to knock out that Steelix. So well played. At first I thought this game was going to go to Jokes. It looked that way, but MORPHINGJAR turned the win over, and he managed to pull it out. So we're going to jump into game 2 against Jokes. Haunter versus the Empoleon. So this is an interesting matchup. I mean, Empoleon's doing a lot of damage with Waterfall. However, Haunter gets to those charge moves super fast, and it's just going to do a lot of damage. So decides to use the shield and switch out into Claydol, and Haunter just disappeared. Like, what in the world? That's how much one confusion is just able to easily clean up against Haunter. That was crazy. Yeah, you don't even see what happened to Haunter. That's how much. But anyway, not going to shield, assuming in Earth Power, it is. So, doing a decent amount of damage. You know, Cresselia doesn't have Levitate like it does in the main game, so I still think about that sometimes, to be honest with you. For whoever plays the main games, whoever doesn't play, Levitate is a move where ground moves cannot affect Pokemon that are like floating or flying types, like Cresselia, which has Levitate. You know, it's just I kind of think of that at times, but sometimes I don't. I don't know. It's weird. But anyway, Morphingjar will go ahead and go for the Future Sight. That actually did a decent amount of damage to Empoleon. Empoleon does manage to squeeze out a charge move before it goes down, though. So, gonna knock out that Cresselia. And then Poliwrath comes out, so we'll see what's in the back. It is going to be that Dusclops, so let's see. I mean, he's just going straight for the Ice Punch, not going to try and power up the Ice Punch. You know, I guess that makes sense. I don't know if I would use Power Up Punch just to try and boost my Ice Punch. It's hard to say. It's really hard to say. But both of them have one shield, so does Jokes take this one? I don't know. It's going to be tight. Going for the Ice Punch. Eventually, the shield's going to have to come up. There it is, so Jokes' shield is down. Is Morphingjar going to commit? Yes, he is. This is going to be a super close game, guys. Super close. I don't know. The thing is, I don't know how much energy that Dusclops has. So, Poliwrath does get off the Ice Punch. Ooh, a Shadow Punch comes up, but I think Poliwrath survives this. But I don't know if he'll survive the Hex attacks. Actually, I think he will. Can he faint down with Bubble? Oh my gosh, that's like 1 HP. Wow, that was so close. So Poliwrath does win, and Morphingjar does beat Jokes 2-0. So congratulations. They are going to play the game 3, though. Poliwrath against Claydol, so definitely a positive matchup. In a way, for Jokes, I mean, the Ice Punch from Poliwrath is doing a lot of damage. So, you know, at least you have that against the Claydol. Claydol will not shield that, so if he can get off another Ice Punch, he'll be able to knock it out. I don't know, well, here comes an Earth Power. I don't know if that's going to be shielded or not. No, so Morphingjar decides to let Poliwrath go. I don't know if I would have shielded that and tried to get to an Ice Punch. I really don't know, guys. I might have let Poliwrath go down as well. But Cresselia does finish off the Claydol, and Jokes brings in Dusclops. And Dusclops definitely has a favorable matchup because it gets to those Shadow Punches so fast. You guys know it. It doesn't do a lot of damage because Cresselia is super bulky, but you can just spam them. But Cresselia does get off the Future Sight, which will be met with the shield. And it's going to get off a Shadow Punch. So let's see if the shield will come up. Yes, it will. So not wanting to take the shield, deciding to switch into a Alolan Marowak. And then the Poliwrath comes in. So can he get off the Shadow Ball? He is not bluffing this time, going straight for the Shadow Ball. Let's see if it will be met with a shield. It will. It will be met with a shield, not wanting to take that Shadow Ball damage. And now the shield will come up against this Poliwrath. Actually, a Dynamic Punch. Marowak would have survived that, but I guess he didn't know it was going to be Dynamic Punch. He wanted to get to the Shadow Ball. Makes sense. So Shadow Ball does a lot of damage, but Poliwrath is able to get to a charge move, and it is going to be an Ice Punch, which actually does not knock out that Marowak. So Marowak will knock out the Poliwrath. I thought that Marowak was going to be knocked out, honestly. But Dusclops does come in, and then Cresselia is in, and Cresselia is not in a good position. Very close game, but it looks like Cresselia is going to fall. Actually, oh man, he was at it. He was at the charge moves. But Dusclops is going to knock him out. It doesn't matter because Morphingjar does win and go 3-1 anyway. But congratulations, and here is his friend code as promised. If any of you want to add him, he does want to battle. So if you're into PvP, if you're into the Sylph Arena tournaments, definitely go ahead and add him. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video. Have a good day. Bye.